if they awarded Olympic gold medals for bad comic book packaging, this guy is your gold medalist. We'll take a look at what's inside, and as I mentioned, the Olympics, and it's the time for the Olympics. We're going to take a look at some Olympic comic book covers up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. How not to mail a comic book. Fortunately, this is a low-grade book anyway. I just preempted it because whatever. But this is how it was mailed and then shoved into my PO box. Great job. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description of this video. It has links to my Instagram, whatnot, eBay store, email, all that good stuff. So the Olympics are in full swing. They began a couple days ago in Paris, France, and I am a huge fan of the Olympics. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of a comic book hiatus, and I had recorded this video beforehand. Now I'm kind of using the bad packaging, which is legitimately bad packaging. There's a little bit of clickbait, but there are all sorts of subgenres of comic book collecting. Based on the cover content. I'm not just talking about like good girl art or things like that. I'm talking about there's bubblegum covers. People collect like tennis covers or volleyball covers, cigar covers, and it just goes with whatever interests them. And the Olympics interest me, and this has kind of become something I've glommed onto recently. And I wanted to take a look at some Olympic covers of comic books, and this is not at all an exhaustive list, but we'll take a look at some of them. But first, I wanted to talk about this. This is like how the package arrived. Like literally, it was in my so I went to the post office, and I have a P.O. box, but I have a P.O. box that's about this big, right? So what happens is I use it because when I get a package, they put a yellow card in there, and I go to the front desk and they bring me the package, which is usually like a Gemini mailer or bigger if it's a slab or whatever from CGC. And I was doing that because I had been getting packages back from CGC, and there were like $40,000 worth of comics sitting on my my stoop, and I'm like, I actually had to rush home from work one day to get the package into the house. So I said, no more of this. Let's use the P.O. box. But this, I arrived, and this is the first time this has ever happened to me. It was not only ripped, it was folded, almost like, a subscription crease. It was curled and shoved in, which exacerbated the rip, I suppose, into the post office box. So, at any rate, let's take this book out. And I mean, listen, this isn't like, an Amazing Fantasy 15 or something. It is, I think I spent $3 plus shipping and taxes on the comic. It was just like an eBay impulse buy, and it goes with this Olympic covers thing. So yeah, and you can see like how it had been bent. The backer boards are bent. I mean, I could press this, but this is a low grade book. I mean, it was a low grade to begin with. This really didn't harm the book much at all. It's got a really bad spine roll. And this is All New Teen Confessions, number 77. From, I'm going to guess this is December 1971. No, it's December 72, so it's kind of late in the year. And this is an Olympic cover. And what I liked about this, the cover art's pretty good as well. If kissing were on the Japanese Olympics program, I'd vote Carl a gold medal. There's a free pinup poster of the Partridge Family inside. Is there? Or is that gone? This might be missing the Partridge Family poster, which would then cause me to want to look for 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, I'm going to have to look for the actual one with the Partridge Family poster. I'm going to guess it wasn't like the centerfold, but a separate poster. because there's a centerfold and there's no poster. Anyway, this is kind of a dirty copy. It is, yeah. I mean, it is a mess. So again, I just wanted this because the cover art is pretty cool, and I like the fact this is from 1972. They referenced the Japanese Olympics program, and in the 1972 Winter Olympics were in Sapporo, Japan. You also have this nice backdrop of the mountains there for the Winter Olympics. And I'm trying to see, is that one of the stories in here? They're on a ship in this story. Yeah. Fun and games time. So, probably the same artist. A. Martinez and Jean Eber? Or Etier? Yeah. So, somebody's a skier going to the Winter Olympics. So, this is, they're skiing there. Guy ski caught, and he was in the Mixmaster. And so there's he still has romance at the end. So good for him. So this goes into my Olympics cover collection. So that was kind of fun. Now I did get this just a few weeks ago. My LCS owner was like, "Yeah, there was this book had an Olympic cover, and it's the most recent Looney Tunes number 279. Let the games begin. Bugs is holding a carrot instead of a torch, and Tweety has a medal, and so that's kind of cool. That is a brand new book. And this is another one that just flipping through a box at a flea market, I'm like, I got to get this one now. Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 286. I had to put the sticker with the number because there's no number on the cover. I forget this. Oh, it's from 1964. And it is Donald Duck, the Olympian Torchbearer. And he looks thrilled by it. So, those are just a couple that I had in hand. And I tried to find some other comic book covers. Now, sometimes they're related to a specific year and connected to either directly or tangentially to the Olympic Games, much like the Teen Confessions was connected to the 1972 Winter Olympics in Sapporo, and some they just kind of use the term Olympics. So one of the uses of at least the term Olympics was in 1978. It was based on the Saturday morning cartoon series of Hanna-Barbera's Laugh Olympics. Laugh Olympics number 1. And it doesn't really pertain to the Olympic Games themselves, but in this you have the three teams that were on the TV show. You have the Yogi Yahooies, captained by Yogi Bear, and then you have the Scooby Doobies, and then what was the third team? The Dastard? No. I'm drawing a blank as to who the third team was in the Laugh Olympics. So it was the Yogi Yahooies, the Scooby Doobies, and I'm going to have to look this up now on the internets. And I'll take time to do that because, Laugh Olympics. Boo, 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 boo. The Really Rottens, and those were like the bad guys. So, the Really Rottens were Dastardly and Mumbly, and Dastardly and Muttley. No, Mumbly, who is kind of like just a reused version of Mumbly. And not Dick Dastardly, but Dread Baron, the Daltons, the Creepleys, Orphala Octopus, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of tangentially related to the Olympics, but not directly. So if we look at another book here, this is one of the ones that were interplanetary Olympics. And this is Jigsaw number 2 by Harvey Comics. where he's the duel and the death walk in the interplanetary Olympics. I was not at all familiar with Jigsaw. Again, this is from December of 1966. Evidently, Jigsaw is a man of 1,000 parts. And I guess, I don't know, does he predate Arm Fall Off Boy? Because it looks like he comes apart. It looks kind of gruesome, like you can still see his bones under the pieces there. I don't know exactly how that happens. You've met your match, Zarkow. I'm going to teach you not to play dirty ever again. Have any of you heard of Jigsaw? I'm not really familiar with him. Then there was Bugs Bunny and the Rabbit Olympics. This is a pretty early 4-color comics, number 432 from October of 1952, which would have come out around the time of the 52 Olympic Games, Summer Games in Helsinki, Finland. And then next up, we have Whiz Comics, number 125. This is from September of 1950. Captain Marvel wins the Olympic Games of the Gods. So this is more in reference to the Greek mythological heritage of Captain Marvel / Shazam and connection to the original Olympic Games. I mean, the Greek gods were on Mount Olympus. And you can see the event is the lightning bolt throw. And Captain Marvel's competing in that, and he puts on that neat little headband, like he's Kenny Bednarik. So that is kind of tangentially related. We got another one, Wonder Woman. This is issue number 106, and this is from May of 1959, not an Olympic year. Giants Olympic contest. So you had these giants competing in Olympic contests. And Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor are part of a charm bracelet that's an award for that. Oh, you gotta love Silver Age Wonder Woman. And I guess technically, this is also a bondage cover, which is another type of cover that some comic book collectors like. If we keep moving on, this one is related to a specific Olympic Games and is very clear about it. It's Archie, number 356, cover date May 1988. 1988 Olympic Winter Games come together in Canada. The 88 Olympic Games took place in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And you can see the in the background there, the Needle? No, the Sky Tower? I think it's the Sky Tower is what they refer to it as in Calgary. So it's a special Winter Olympics issue. So this is directly connected to those specific Olympic Games. 4 years earlier, the Summer Olympic Games were in Los Angeles, California. And that was around the time that Batman and the Outsiders number 14 came out and introduced Maxi Zeus, who thought he was like an ancient Greek god Zeus. And it says there at the 1984 Summer Olympics, the Wrath of Zeus. So you can see he has Batman and the Outsiders in the cauldron. And then the story continued to issue number 15, which came out the following month, cover date November 1984. And remember, cover dates were always several months ahead of the actual date they were on the stands. And then you can see in what is kind of a quick approximation of the LA Coliseum at the 1984 Summer Olympics that Maxi Zeus is standing there in the gold medal position with Knox and Antaeus in silver and bronze. They were part of his New Olympians, I think they called themselves. So those are, I have a few copies of that. I have the entire run in my collection, so that's one I do have. The next one is a fun one, which is also a connection to a specific Olympic Games, and it is Marvel Treasury Edition number 25, which came out in January of 1980, Spider-Man versus the Hulk at the Winter Olympics. And this is referencing the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York, in which famously the U.S. hockey team upset the Soviets for the gold medal. Eric Heiden won 5 gold medals in speed skating. And that's really the first Olympics I remember watching as a kid. So I am a huge fan of the 1980 Winter Olympics. And it's in my home state. And I wish I had, like, in retrospect, like, begged my dad to, like, take me for part of it. Although the transportation to get to the venues was a complete disaster. Because Lake Placid is a very small town in upstate New York. And it's mind-boggling that they hosted the Winter Olympics, considering how large the Winter Olympics have gotten. I think there were only 39 events back in 1980. The speed skating oval was the track in the front of the high school on Main Street, and then right next door was the Olympic Arena with the ice, the ice rink that hosted most of the hockey tournament and the figure skating. So it was really small town, but they do have a lot of facilities still there, including the bobsled run, the ski jumps, and those sorts of things. I've been up there. I went up there in 2009 for the World Bobsled Championships. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I love the Olympics. And this is one of those oversized Treasury editions. And Mole Man comes out of the ground to cause some havoc for Spider-Man and Hulk. Another one, and this is kind of a series of the same as DC like to use this idea, and I guess Jigsaw borrowed it later on. Mystery in Space #7, and this is from April-May 1952, kind of in connection, the same time as the Helsinki Olympics. And it's the, you can see this alien there. If Mars doesn't win the interplanetary Olympics as you predicted, you'll be a dead Earthman. So I don't know, maybe they were wagering on the games and the interplanetary Olympics there. So, yeah, they used the interplanetary Olympics here. And then again, just a few years later in Action Comics #220, cover dated September 1956. The 1956 Summer Games were in Melbourne, Australia. So I guess the Olympics were on the mind. This would have come out well ahead of time because in 1956, since they were held in Australia, I believe the games were in either October or November. I don't remember because I wasn't born yet, despite what some of you may think. So Superman is doing the 1,000-pound shot put as opposed to the 16-pound shot put. And he's losing to, who's that? Bromo of Kor and Sharn of Iwo. The strongest man in the universe. Ho, ho. He cannot even throw as far as Sharn of the planet Iwo. So Superman is embarrassing himself here in this one. And then Superman gets another shot at the Interplanetary Olympics a few years later in 1963. But again, it doesn't go as well. So that's the great Superman of Earth boasts about. Bah, he's just a super weakling compared to these other super athletes. You can see Superman's having a hard time lifting 500 pounds. Meanwhile, Borko of Gorn and Boskar of Crag are able to lift 50,000 pounds. I'm going to guess that's pounds. They use pounds in space, right? And overhead with one hand, and then Boskar is, breaking the chains across his chest, which Superman would do in 1971, by the way. It just took him some time to get to that point. Neil Adams cover, Defeating Kryptonite. And then Batman got in on the action. Not the same thing, but Batman and Robin solved the mystery of the Olympic Games of Space. Stop the contest of the Earthman's cheating. So Batman's like in this anti-gravity bowl boxing match against some alien who kind of looks like what's his name from Invincible, but he has two eyes. So Batman, and this was, when is this from? This is from 1958. October 1958. So it wasn't an Olympic year. And this was when Batman was at his goofy sci-fi stage. So, now we're going to go to, this is probably my favorite Olympic cover because it does contain an Olympic story and it does have key significance of its own. And it's a book that I read as a kid. It was actually reprinted, I think was it DC Superstars #1? This is Teen Titans #4 from August of 1966. So this is cover dated the month before I was born. And you see the Olympic rings where Speedy is doing a trick with blindfolded and shooting flaming arrows at the Olympic rings. Maybe the Barcelona Olympic organizers got that idea. If you don't remember, in 1992, when Barcelona, Spain hosted the Olympics, to light the cauldron at the opening ceremonies, they had an archer with a flaming arrow shoot the arrow over the cauldron to set it ablaze. Speedy did it first. Well, he didn't do it in the cauldron. But this is actually the issue of Teen Titans where Speedy joins the team. Because the original Teen Titans in Brave and the Bold 54 was Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad. And they weren't called the Teen Titans until they came back a few issues later. And Wonder Girl joined the team. And then Speedy joins up in issue #4 here. So those are the Olympic covers that I enjoyed. if you know of any other ones, leave it in the comments below. These are kind of things I kind of keep my eye out on, and if I see it at a show or whatever, like I picked up that Donald Duck one, grab this at the flea market. What the heck? I still have to get now that other one. I need the Partridge Family poster, for crying out loud. But it was a terrible shipping job. But again, it was only a $3 book, and it was in terrible shape anyway. So not something that I was looking to clean, press, and slab. So it was just kind of a fun book to add to the collection. So let me know what you think about this, and also, are there any specific types of covers that you collect? It's kind of a fun way to branch out in the hobby. And if you've been doing this as long as I have, you start to fill your runs, and you start to get to the point where the books you need to fill those runs are ridiculously expensive. So you got to save up for them. So in the meantime, just kind of a fun diversion to collect another little thing. And it's kind of fun because when you're digging, it's something to look out for. It's not something like, I'm going to go on eBay and order, issue number 7 of this run that I need. No, that's not what you need to do necessarily. You just kind of find the book. Oh, this would fit nicely in my collection, and throw it in there. Let me know what you think about that idea about collecting. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying, until next time, enjoy your comics.